Evening, Spudger. Hope you're doing alright. Yeah, I really do. I see you've been getting a bit irate recently about not mentioning the bird. This is quite difficult to avoid once you know about it, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite difficult to avoid. And it was me that discovered that connection, that find, and showed how it kind of followed all the main, let's say, colonizing cultures of the world. The Romans, the Greeks, the Phoenicians, and all the rest, yeah. All Aryans, Carthaginians, and of course your original Phoenician Canaanites, which is, as far as a DNA type goes, that's who it is. Yeah, and and the bird is a symbol of their domination, the predatory bird. Don't get the chicken confused with that. That's something entirely different, because that's a flightless bird, and that's why they like killing chickens. Yeah, and that's how they're bred that way. They're flightless, aren't they, chickens? They can only fly a fucking 10 foot, and then they have to land again, most of them. And some birds can fly. Some birds can fly and swim underwater, can't they? Some ducks and stuff can do both. The seabirds, they like seabirds, yeah, and they like predatory birds, and something like a sea eagle or an albatross or something like that, that's predatory and big and powerful and has really good vision. Yeah, they're the birds on top. And of course they like seabirds because they come from the sea. Like a sea eagle would be the fucking one, you know what I mean? So they practice sodomy, yeah, they practice all sorts of disgusting stuff to do with shit and piss and all sorts of nastiness, loving cups and things like that, yeah. And no doubt some of them are more akin to homosexual activity. A lot of them are, yeah. But they don't see it like that. Like, they just see, if you look back in history and you really dig into some things that I've looked into, you'll see that if you go back far enough into like ancient Egypt and Rome and places like that, yeah, you know, the very beginning, that you were either sexually active or you weren't sexually active. Yeah, and there was no real definitions of gay or lesbian or bi or LGBT, whatever. Yeah, it was just you practiced having sex in some way or another, or you didn't. Seriously, and the reason that is because the Canaanites, you know, infiltrated all those cultures, the Aryans. They all marched under the bird symbol, didn't they? Agila for Rome. Yeah? Phoenician birds on the boats. And when you see the woman on the front of the boat with the tits out and everything else like they have, that's representing the bird as well, because that's the Cybele character, the mother goddess character. Yeah? And Nazi Germany with their eagle holding the swastika. Ashkenazi Germany, should I say? Yeah. And then you've got all your Russia and the surrounding countries and states with their double-headed bird. If that's not showing you that they control both sides, just with the logo, I don't know what it is. Yeah. And of course you've got your American bald eagle, where the power resides now. So that's it, right? And they're incestual within their own families, older and younger, and they're not averse to animals, and I even believe some of them are into fucking, you know, the things they alleged Jimmy Savile was into. We will never know what the truth is there. So yeah, they have the bird, don't they? The French have the cockerel, don't they? The British have the swan. And I showed you the other day the Sudanese bird thing that they've got. Everywhere the Aryans went, the Canaanite Phoenician bloodline went, it left you'll find bird stuff, basically. Yeah, like Garuda in India. And you'll find goddesses as well, like Kali in India. Yeah? And statues of goddesses. That's how you know where you are. And if you go most places, you'll see all that stuff. You'll see birds, you'll see statues of so-called goddesses. Yeah. Now, that's how it is. And these are the Aryans. They lived on ships. They lived at sea for a long time. Spent a hell of a long time at sea, within their own bloodline. Yeah. And they did what they did, like I'm saying to you. They had animals on board them boats because they were transporting animals from one place to another. Like they did from India, how the Carthaginians got Indian elephants for their army. Everyone knows about that army and the Carthaginian army and the elephants. They were like the first tanks, and they armoured them all up, didn't they? People say that they gave them more drugs and alcohol and that to make them just go crazy and like charge into the enemy. So they say sometimes they went nuts and turned around and charged their own forces, but they used elephants in battle as like battering rams, you know, and they had all spiked armour on and all kinds, yeah. Imagine being run out by that. And they used to breed them in Carthage and Tyre. Yeah, and they found, if you look it up on the internet, you'll find it out, they found bones in some places, like graveyards of them, yeah, where there's been loads of Indian elephant bones found. And it predates any so-called of the well-known explorers that you get told about at school, going to them parts of the world and coming back to Europe again. Predates it all, you know, by a fucking long time. So, people who say to you that Aryans didn't infiltrate the Indian caste system, yeah, of course they did. They've got a bird in there. All the high castes have got square heads and look fucking white. Some of them are whiter than me, aren't they? But we've got one in London. We've got one in London now. That little bird boy that says he's the fucking man. You get me? I'm more concerned about them sort of people than I am with constantly going on about the Jews. Like the Jews with the Babylonian inland traders, with the Phoenicians, and they were trusted with the inland trade, and that's what you associate when you see them in the Bible with the scales and the selling stuff and everything in the biblical films and that. Yeah. Right? And the Phoenicians travelled the waters and the riverways, yeah? Spent most of the time at sea. Until the end of the golden age of piracy, where they fucking blended in onto the land. But all that aside, yeah, what I'm trying to say to Mr. Spudgy Pang here, yeah, Spudger, is we can come to an agreement, yeah. Because my big problem with what you were saying prior to, you know, before, is that you kept on saying Freemason bird code, Freemason gay Jewish bird code, you know, all the time. It was like a prefix. Every time you said bird code, you had to say Jewish gay Freemason in front of it. Yeah. And what I'm saying to you is, and as I've just been telling you, is it's a much bigger thing than that. Much bigger thing than that, than the Jews. Much bigger. They're in every religion, right? They made the religions. They drew the boundaries with the fake wars. They put the cultures together. They changed the languages. They put the borders in place to be fought over. They put the religions in place to be fought over. And they coded it all. And that's what our job is here, decoding it. Alright? So my message to you, mate, is You can talk about the bird and you can point it out. But I'm not having you going gay Freemason bird code, Jewish, gay Freemason bird code. You call it what it is. I've explained to you now. But I'm telling you that what it is. Right? And I've put the hours in on it. I've found it. I've had the people helping me. We've put the hours in together as a team. And that is what it is. It's the Canaanites. It's their bloodline. It's the sons of Cain. It's the Phoenician Canaanites. The sea traders, the pirates. The inbred from the boats with their abominations, bloodlines of inbreeding and everything that comes with it. Why do you think they want to spend so much money on DNA? It's nothing to do with my bloodline. My bloodline's not fucking mutated because it's not inbred. That's where your money's going. Now, would you? If you were in, I'd shake your hand, yeah? If you agreed to that. But only if you agree to it. So, I think I'll unblock you actually and we'll see what happens, yeah? Let me know what you're saying anyway. In a bit. Peace.